The second Saturday of the college football season is upon us, and it's time to make some more money, guys. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here, general manager of this site, and I've got 3 free plays coming your way, backed by in-depth analysis. I'm going to take a look at the SEC contest between South Carolina and Georgia, between the Hedges and Athens. Then going to head out west for the game between Oregon and Nevada, and then also staying out on the West Coast for your contest between UNLV and Washington State. Now, also in just a moment, I'll have a money-saving discount coupon code that will save you $20 off a single purchase you make today. Well, guys, I normally take this time to talk about a lot of other handicappers who are hot or not, but today I'm going to take the time to talk about me, because none of them are as hot as me. I'm already 8-3 this football season, not only giving you the free play on the Packers on Thursday night, but more importantly telling you the best bet on the board was the over. My God, you talk about an easy over in that game, right guys? Jesus, it was over almost by the end of the first half. Anyway, 8-3 start in football, including 7-3 with 15 dime releases. Now, 15 dime plays may not sound like a lot to most of you out there, but you've got to keep it in perspective. 99% of my plays are rated between 5 and 15 dimes. And today, I have my 15 dime opening college blowout of the year play. A play that I've won 10 of the last 13 years. It goes on the daytime card. Now, it would have been 11-3 the last 14 years with this play if the game that I had last Saturday on Michigan was not called early and making it an unofficial play in Vegas, because it was called with 1:07 to go in the third quarter with the Wolverines up comfortably 34-10 against Western Michigan. Doesn't matter. I like today's game even more than I like the Wolverines last week against the Broncos. Again, opening game of the year play, hit it 10 of the last 13 years. It's another 15 dime play. Again, 8-3 starts so far in football, including 7 out of 10 15 dime plays. These are the same 15 dime plays that in the NFL over the past 4 years I'm 40-23 with. Same ones in the NBA the past 2 years, and I'm 26-11 with. With all that being said, guys, let's get going. And we head first to your game out west between Washington State and UNLV. It kicks off at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Washington State currently a 14-point favorite in this one. Now it's an obscure game. I grant you that. But how many times have I told you that the marquee games are generally always the hardest ones to handicap, the hardest ones to win, because you have lines that are so sharp. I like to concentrate the most where the odds makers concentrate the least, and it certainly pays off in spades. I've won 8 of the last 9 football seasons, and that's one of the reasons I've isolated this know-nothing game today. I think Washington State is the play in this one, laying the 14 points. Listen, you know what happened to UNLV. You saw the game on Thursday 2 weeks ago on national TV when the Runnin' Rebels managed to pull off the backdoor cover, getting 35 points at Wisconsin, losing 51-17. But in that game against the Badgers at Camp Randall Stadium, they played 12 freshmen. This is a young, inexperienced team, a team that has dropped 12 of its last 14 games against the spread on the road. Now, Washington State was beating up on a cupcake, I'll grant you that, last Saturday. But they did beat up that cupcake and did exactly what they were supposed to do, rolling over Idaho State 64-21. The ground game accounted for 289 yards. Defense came up with 6 sacks. The only negative is they lost their starting quarterback to a broken collarbone, but they had a 5th-year senior step in, run the offense proficiently, as he came up with 230 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. In that contest. I'll tell you what, guys, this is still a young UNLV team. Washington State looking for its first 2-0 start in years. I say the Cougars get it today. Final projected score, Washington State 34, UNLV 13. Now, before I get to your next free pick, which is on South Carolina and Georgia, let me give you that money-saving discount coupon code, guys. It is going to be CANDY20. Candy, like the candy you eat, and the number 20. C-A-N-D-Y, C-A-N-D-Y, and the number 20. No spaces between the word and the number. Candy20. That'll save you $20 off of any single purchase you make today at the site. It's a one-time usage coupon. You don't necessarily have to buy my plays either. You can buy anybody's plays at the site. The core choice is yours. Once again, Candy 20 is that discount code. Next, let's take a look at that South Carolina-Georgia game. Here's one of those games where you've got a line that's right on the money. South Carolina favored by a field goal in this contest, which goes at 4:30 Eastern Time. You know what happened with the Gamecocks last week. Trailing East Carolina 17-0. Steve Spurrier finally found that he had some brains under that half visor he was wearing, put Steven Garcia in the lineup, and suddenly South Carolina was off to the races, eventually rolling to a 56-37 victory, a game which they did not cover by 2 points. But Garcia certainly did his job. You know, Garcia in and out like a yo-yo in the lineup during his whole tenure at South Carolina, but he delivered last week. 7 of 15 passing for 110 yards, 5 for carries for 56 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns in all. Meanwhile, Georgia was playing in nearby Atlanta at the Georgia Dome, hosting Boise State, lost to the Broncos 35-21, and to be honest with you, I don't really think the score was close as the final indicated. Boise State's defense accounted for 4 sacks, 7 tackles, 4 losses, really put the pressure on quarterback Aaron Murray, who, once again, simply doesn't have a lot of tools offensively. You know, he struggled early last year when A.J. Green, their outstanding wide receiver, was suspended. Of course, A.J. now playing with the Cincinnati Bengals. Doesn't really have much of a ground game to rely on either. That makes his job all the more difficult. That's not the case for South Carolina. Marcus Lattimore, remember last year, 37 carries, 182 yards against the Gamecocks, and a 17-6, or against the Bulldogs for the Gamecocks, and a 17-6 win in Columbia. He's coming off a 113-yard performance, 3 scores against East Carolina, a game in which South Carolina really couldn't run the ball that much after falling down 17-0. I believe he only had 22 or 23 carries in that game. Listen, Georgia has failed to cover 10 of its last 13 games at home. The road team is on a 4-1-1 ATS tear in this series, and South Carolina has covered 3 straight between the hedges. Although the Gamecocks have lost all 3 of those games straight up, I say in triple revenge, they win and cover here. I like South Carolina 27-20. I think this line should be 6. I like the Gamecocks by 7. They're only laying by 3 in this one. So again, South Carolina is going to be the play. Now, your final play is going to be Oregon, minus the 26.5 points at home against Nevada. This one kicking off at 3:30 Eastern Time. You know what happened to Oregon last week. Went to LSU, got physically dominated, lost that game. Now licking their wounds. Not the place you want to be visiting the Ducks right now, Eugene, Oregon. Listen, Nevada making it even more difficult for the Wolfpack. This is their can opener. This is their first game of the season. And they're taking on a bunch of wounded Ducks that definitely want to lick their wounds and get back to scoring, what they do best. Now, this is a team that last year, Oregon, that averaged 609 yards per game in total offense at home and outscored its foes 59-15 on average at home as well. Do I think Oregon's going to put 59 points on the board today? No, I do not. But I do think the Ducks get it going. Listen, the problem last week against LSU was the same problem they had against another big physical SEC defense, Auburn, in the BCS title game when I gave you the Tigers over them last January as my one and only 39 play ever in college football. The problem? Big physical defensive lines. Well, Oregon is not going to run into that today against Nevada. So, LaMichael James, who was held to just 54 yards on 18 carries by LSU, meaning that the quarterback, Thomas, had to throw the ball 54 times, not what you're looking for when you're running the spread offense, okay? And when you've got such a powerful ground game. So I think James and the runners get going here early. Listen, Oregon is 16-8 against the spread as a double-digit home favorite the last 24 games that it's been laying double digits. They've covered 11 of their last 13 at home. 11 of their last 14 at home. Overall, they're on a 23-8-1 run against the oddsmakers as a home chalk. Meanwhile, Nevada doesn't have Colin Kaepernick anymore, doesn't have its top running back from a year ago, doesn't have its top defensive player from a year ago. This is a team that's failed to cover 12 of its last 18 on the road. Again, speed and size goes to Oregon today, as opposed to last week when I went against them. And I have the Ducks in here to take care of the number. Laying 26.5 points, I say they win it 48-17. So Oregon's your one free pick. South Carolina by a touchdown at Georgia's the other. Washington State rolling by 21 points at home against UNLV is your third free selection. And once again, your money-saving discount coupon code will be CANDY20 to save $20 off of any single purchase today. Good luck, guys, and I'll catch you again on Sunday. And remember now, on Sunday, you're going to get our entire NFL report. Steve Buda and I break down every single NFL game on the board from a point spread perspective. We'll also have commentary and free plays as well from guest handicappers, Trace Adams and Chris Jordan. That's going to be on your Sunday video right here. Good luck. Catch you again tomorrow.